Okay, before the British, South African, and Canadian turn gets started, the Russians are going to try and use their spy ability. The thing that they're going to try and do is turn Turkey from a true neutral to a pro-allied neutral. So if they get a 5 or a 6, that happens. If they don't, they have to pay 2 IPCs to the bank. And they failed. So they have to pay 2 IPCs to the bank, and they can't try and turn Turkey again. Okay, this is the beginning of UK, Canada, and South Africa, turn 3. The UK on the Europe side of the board, of course, cannot buy anything because their capital was captured by the Germans last turn, or beginning of this turn. But the UK Pacific is going to be purchasing with its 17 IPCs a transport, a mechanized infantry, and a tank. South Africa will be saving its 5 IPCs and spending them next turn. They're going to have to worry about some defense with the Italians rapidly advancing towards them. So they're going to save up some money and spend a little bit at the beginning of next turn. The Canadians actually have to start thinking about defense because the Germans have a lot of transports in the water, and they will be very shortly able to reach Canada. The Canadians are going to spend their 9 IPCs on 3 infantry. There will be some attacks declared. Combined British and South African forces will be attacking Greece, and they will be coming in as follows. There will be an offshore shot from the cruiser in C-Zone 95, along with the 2 planes from the carrier will be attacking. There will be an airborne element coming from Malta, a single infantry unit coming into there. And also from Egypt, 2 infantry and 1 artillery from UK Europe, and then 1 artillery from South Africa. If Greece falls, South Africa will take Greece, because remember that the UK Europe cannot collect income right now. In Africa, the South African unit in Ethiopia will walk into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, and the South African unit from Tanganyika territory will walk into Kenya. Those are both just unchallenged. In the Pacific side of the board, a South African and a Far East Command UK unit will be going into Hunan with a fighter from Burma. 2 Far East Command UK units will be going into Kwangsi with a tactical bomber from Burma as well. Finally, in C-Zone 41, the fighter from India will attack the lone transport there and take it out of the mix. So I think that's all the combat. Let's roll some dice. Okay, this is the amphibious assault on Greece. 2 fighters from the HMS Ark Royal aircraft carrier will be attacking. From the Far East Fleet, the HMS Argonaut, and from the Med Fleet, the HMS Ajax will be performing offshore shots. The HMS Stalker will be unloading an infantry and an artillery, and the HMS Empire Spearhead will be unloading an infantry and a South African artillery, and there will also be a paratrooper from Malta coming in. So let's roll the offshore shots first. Remember, in this version of the game, offshore shots are first strike. The minor Axis are defending with 1 Albanian infantry and 3 Bulgarian infantry. 1 hit, so we'll lose the Albanian, I guess. Okay, alright, so 2 3s, 4 2s and a 1. 1 hit. That's disappointing. Okay, 3 defense. No hits. Well, that's a little bit better. Okay, again. More than enough hits. We have 5. We only need 2. One hit. So we'll lose the paratrooper. Okay, so South Africa is going to claim the territory with its 1 artillery because the UK can't earn money right now because their capital is captured. Battle for Hunan. The British have a fighter and an infantry, and the South Africans have an infantry. So that's 2 1s and a 3. Hit with the fighter. Japanese defend and miss. So UK and South Africa liberate the territory for the Chinese with no casualties. In the battle for Guangxi, 2 English troops and a tactical bomber that has to roll at a 3 because there's no combined arms here. So a 3 and 2 1s. Hit. Japan's defense misses. So UK liberates the territory and loses no men doing it. Okay, this is C-Zone 41. There's no dice rolling here. This is an auto kill, but the SS Montevideo Maru is being sunk by a British fighter. So, battle over. Okay, let's do non-combat. The Canadians are going to load their infantry from British Guiana onto their transport, and the transport and the destroyer will move 1-2 into C-Zone 92 and drop off the infantry in Gibraltar. In the Med, the 2 planes that participated in the Greece attack will land back on the aircraft carrier, and the bomber that acted as an air transport will land back in Egypt. The destroyer from C-Zone 81 will join the rest of the fleet in C-Zone, whatever this is, I think it's 97. And then the battleship in C-Zone 76 will come up to C-Zone 98. The South African transport ship will move from C-Zone 76 to C-Zone 80 in preparation for taking the guys from Persia somewhere. In the Pacific, the fighter plane that participated in the C-Zone 41 attack will land back in India. The mechanized infantry and tank from India will go to Yunnan. All of the forces in Burma, 2 artillery, 1 infantry, and 1 anti-aircraft gun will move into Yunnan. Both planes involved in the Hunan and Guangxi attacks will land in Yunnan as well. The Canadian infantry from Yunnan will join the French in French Indochina. And I think that's all the non-combat movement that we have. So we'll tidy up the board and come back with placements and money. Placement of new units. The 3 new Canadian units will be placed in Quebec. And the new tank and mechanized infantry will go into India. And the new transport will go into C-Zone 39. Okay, income changes. Japan is going to lose 2 IPCs at the expense of China. So we'll adjust that on the income tracker. China goes up from 6 to 8. Japan goes down from 51 to 49. And then South Africa is going to claim Greece from the minor axis. And because the UK does not currently have a capital, liberating Anglo-Egyptian Sudan and Kenya makes them South African. So South Africa is going to gain 4. Italy's going to go down 2, and the minor axis are going to go down 2. So minor axis down 2, Italy down 2, and South Africa up 4 to 9. Okay. So income. UK Pacific only has 10 IPCs. They lost a lot of territory last turn to the Japanese. The South Africans saved 5 IPCs. They will get 9 IPCs this turn. So that's going to give them 14 IPCs to put in the bank account. And Canada is still at 7 IPCs, so that will remain unchanged. Of course, UK Atlantic collects nothing because their capital has been taken, remember, by Germany. So let's do a disposition of forces. Canadians, 5 infantry in Quebec, 1 infantry in Gibraltar, a transport and a destroyer in C-Zone 92. The only other Canadian unit on the board is all the way over here in French Indochina. There is an infantry there. Okay, UK Atlantic has, well, there's a UK Pacific transport and cruiser here, but there's also a UK Atlantic transport, cruiser, destroyer, and fully loaded carrier with 2 fighters. In Greece, there is 2 infantry and 1 artillery, along with a South African artillery. There is a battleship, a Pacific battleship, in C-Zone 98. In Egypt, there are 3 infantry, 2 mechanized infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 strategic bomber, along and a pillbox, along with a French unit and 2 Australian units, infantry and a mech infantry. South African units on the board right now. Oh, also in Persia, there is an infantry and an artillery. South African units on the board right now: 1 infantry in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, 1 infantry in Kenya, 1 mechanized infantry in South Africa itself. And of course a South African transport in C-Zone 80. Moving on to the Pacific side of the board. In India, we have 1 fighter, 3 infantry, 1 mechanized infantry, 1 tank, 1 artillery, 1 anti-aircraft artillery, along with, of course, some other units there. There's 2 Dutch infantry, 1 Dutch artillery, 1 Dutch anti-aircraft, and 1 Australian infantry as well. In C-Zone 39, sharing space with the Dutch transport, is a British transport. In Yunnan, we have, for the British, an anti-aircraft artillery, 2 regular artillery, 1 infantry, 1 mechanized infantry, 1 tank, a fighter, and a tactical bomber. In Hunan, there is an infantry and a South African infantry. In Guangxi, there are 2 infantry. I mentioned the Canadian in French Indochina, along with the 2 French pieces. And then in Malaya, there are 2 British infantry. I think that's all of the British, Canadian, and South African pieces all around the board. So, that's that. Who's up next? Anzac, Dutch, and French are up next. So we'll see what they do.